we doing, everybody? And welcome to Wisconsin Sports on the Go with Trage. I'm your host, Trage. It is Tuesday, a great Tuesday in the great state of Wisconsin, a great Tuesday in the world. We're going to call it the world today because March Madness is here. We are welcoming in the madness that is college basketball starting up tonight here. We're going to have the first four in action here, leading up into some big games coming up this weekend. We're going to talk about it all today. I want to get into March Madness a little bit. I want to cover the bracket. Everybody's got their predictions. I got mine. We're going to go through my bracket. We're going to compare it to yours. We're going to see what everybody's feeling here. And I'm going to give you some of the facts that you need to know when you are predicting your March Madness bracket. So with that, lots to talk about today. I got a lot of things I wanted to touch base in before we got to March Madness. First, I saw a mock draft, an NBA mock draft, and I believe it was the Ringer, they call it, and they had the Bucks selecting Zack Edey with that number 25 pick. They had him in the number 25 spot. They had the Bucks grabbing Zack Edey. That would suck. I gotta be honest with you. First off, not a fan of Zack Edey. Gotta be honest with you. Not a fan. I got over it with Grayson Allen. I wasn't a fan of Grayson Allen. Got over it with Grayson Allen. I'm not a fan of Zack Edey, and it's not simply for the fact of I just hated the way Grayson Allen played the game. I look at Zack Edey, and while I do hate the way he plays the game, but you look at the Bucks and you say, why do you want to replace Brook Lopez? Why? I mean, that's the biggest question is, what is causing this? We need to bring in another piece behind Brook, a possible guy to take over. Well, it's because Brook Lopez is getting slower. He's getting older, getting slower, not as effective there on the defensive end. He's an older guy. So bringing in a guy like Zack Edey, this guy's speed doesn't fly off the charts. He's not a quick guy. He's not a great A-plus defender. When you look at him in college basketball, I'm going to gauge it off of what I've seen out of him at Big Ten play, a little bit out of Big Ten play, and mainly against Wisconsin. And that was he did not defend outside of basically the paint. I mean, this guy would stand out. He waited. They put him on the worst three-point shooter on the team, and he would sit in the paint. They weren't worried about Zack Edey then, and I think that's where a dynamic of his game that he doesn't have yet is his on-ball defense. This guy can't defend. I don't care if you put him against Bam Adebayo. He's not going to be able to defend Bam. I'm going to be honest with you. He's not going to be able to defend the likes of Jokic or even a guy like Joel Embiid. All guys who can put it on the deck while also being able to shoot the three ball. Zack Edey doesn't fit that fold for me. I got to be honest with you. There's a lot of people who are high on Zack Edey going into this upcoming NBA draft. I'm not. I am not 100% even close to sold that Zack Edey is going to make a name for himself in the league. You look at a guy like Frank Kaminsky coming out of the Badgers. He does not have the stature of what Zack Edey does. I will say that. He does not have that. But what Frank had was the ability to spread out a defense. He had the ability to knock down the three while also working inside. This was a very good finisher in Frank Kaminsky when he left the state of Madison and headed off to the NBA. Zack Edey, he's a one-trick pony. I would be honest with you. That guy's a one-trick pony. And end of the day, that's all there is to it. A one-trick pony who, when he gets to the league, if he cannot develop any other piece of a game, this guy is going to be no better than what Frank did in the NBA. I'm going to be honest with you. That's plain and simple. This guy is not built for today's NBA. Maybe back in the day, Zack Edey would have been fine. But nowadays, look at a guy like Victor Wembanyama. I mean, he's ridiculous. He's got the height of Zack Edey. He's got the length, a little bit more of Zack Edey. He's got more athleticism of Zack Edey. He's got all the intangibles. He's got better than what Zack Edey does. And that's why Victor Wembanyama is a great player. Giannis Antetokounmpo, same thing. Nikola Jokic, a three-level scorer in Jokic. Same with Embiid. I mean, you look at Bam Adebayo has developed himself. He's not a dominant three-point shooter, but he can hit it. And that's where his game has developed a little bit. Coming out of college there now in the NBA, his game has developed. I don't think Zack Edey's game is going to develop any more than it has. This is a guy who gets away with a lot of stuff in college And I mean, we've talked about it here on the show. I mean, Badger fans, you know it as a fact from watching the Big Ten championship or Big Ten tournament. This guy gets away with a lot of crap, and Big Ten officials don't penalize him for it. But once he gets to the tournament, once this Purdue team gets in that tournament, the tide flips, and Zach Edey becomes a different player. He's not as we're not going to send him to the line 19 times. He shot more free throws than the Badgers did in an entire game. He shot more free throws than the Badgers did. That's ridiculous. And that's what I mean when I say Zach Edey translating to the next level, not going to happen. I don't think it's going to happen. And I'll be honest with you, if the Bucks pick Zach Edey, that is going to tick off a lot of people. Not just me. There's a lot of people out there who will be ticked off by a Zach Edey pick by the Bucks. So I just saw that out there. I saw a lot of people talking about it. I just wanted to touch in on it there because you guys know it. You know my dislike of Zach Edey. I guarantee you out there, Badger fans out there, you dislike Zach Edey. I'll be honest with you, if you're an Illinois fan, Minnesota fan, whatever you're a fan of, you don't like Zach Edey. You don't think he's that great. You just know he's a dominant player because of his size and because of what that he gets away with. Once you get into the NBA, it's hard to say it anymore because it's not really a rough league. But you're going to be facing guys like Giannis. And if he's on the Bucks, you won't face a guy like Giannis. But you're going to see guys like Nikolai Jokic and a guy, I mean, even Chet Holmgren now is playing very well. You're going to get against some of these bigger guys, even a guy like Victor Wembanyama. I mean, long, lanky, athletic, big guys. That's not Zach Edey. He's a slow, good finisher around the rim, basically off of his size. You get against guys who are athletic big men, you cannot play in that game. And that's where I think Zach Edey's going to fall apart when he gets to the next level. I hate the idea of the Bucks drafting him there. So I hope that mock draft is so far off, it's not even funny. So getting out of Zach Edey, I just saw that, wanted to mention it. We got the Brewers. It's the home stretch, right? We're on the home stretch, heading towards the regular season now. We only got, I believe, 9 games left. If I'm not mistaken, 8 games. They got Cleveland coming up Tuesday, Thursday, San Fran, Kansas City, then Seattle, Chicago, Arizona, and then 2 games against the Rockies. So you got 2, 4, 6, 8 games left. 8 games left until it's Ryan Braun, right? Ryan Braun days left until we reach opening day here, game-wise, of this regular season. It's fantastic. It's exciting. Brewers yesterday, they got the win. They beat the Los Angeles Angels in that one, and couple of big bombs there in that game that I just want to mention here. First one coming from the likes of, I just had the stat pulled up there. Internet's starting to give on me here. Everything's starting to go away. There it is. Got it. We're all good to go here on this set. We had Yelich doubling in the first inning. That brought in the first run of the game. And then Yelich did homer to right center. And Willy Adames also had a 2-run shot there for the Brewers. So Brewers flexing a little bit of muscle in this game here. Yelich, Adames, good things to see there. Good things when Yelich is going deep and along with the likes of Adames, because those two, you're going to rely on those two heavily in this early start to this year to kind of get the Brewers off the ground running, if you ask me. You're looking at averages coming into this spring or so far here in spring. Garrett Mitchell, 343 right now. He batted in the leadoff spot for the Brewers in this game, 2 for 3 on the day there. William Contreras, 316, solid batting average there. Eric Hayes has made a name for himself here in spring, 393 average for Hayes here in spring there in that catching spot. Fantastic stuff out of him. Yelich has been hitting 333. And then we got a little bit of Willy Adames sitting there at 267 in this spring season. Sal Frelick, 308. Some solid batting average. I mean, you can't really look deep into the batting average, but these guys have been getting hits. And, I mean, if you want to read into anything, the Brewers' bats are producing hits. That's the big thing moving forward here, because we've looked in the past, this team struggles to string hits together. Right now, I know it's spring. You're not facing the greatest of pitchers, but you are stringing together hits. That's what you love to see out of the Brewers right now. So you can't look too far into the stats, but you can look at the stats and say, hey, we're doing some things right. And that's great to see. for the Brewers there. DL Hall got to start for the Brewers in this one. 4 hits, 3 Ks, 2 earned runs, 3 1/3 innings pitch. DL Hall, watching this game here, it was on Bally, so we're able to watch it. I mean, DL Hall pitched well, nothing bad. He just, when I watch him, he gets himself into trouble, and that's something to watch if you are Brewer fans out there. If you're watching this Brewer team, something to watch is DL Hall, because his command is going to be huge for DL. He's got great stuff, electric stuff. The fastball's moving. He's got great breaking stuff. The only thing that might hold this guy back is his command and losing that command, because he can lose hitters fast. And that's the only thing I got to say with DL Hall. Otherwise, he pitched well in this game. Bryce Wilson, 3 1/3 innings in this one. 1 hit, 4 strikeouts, no earned runs. Great outing out of Bryce Wilson. And then J.P. Butkus got the win for the Brewers. Inning and 2/3, 1 strikeout, nothing across the board otherwise. Butkus has pitched pretty well in spring. Got a couple of rough outings there, but otherwise the guys pitched well for this Brewers team. So great things to see there in this Brewers pitching staff. Like I said, Brewers will be back in action. That will be coming up today here. They will be facing, I believe they have the Guardians. Yes, they will be facing the Guardians here. 3:05 start for that one. Colin Ray will get the ball for the Brewers. Allen will get the ball for the Guardians. You can hear it. It's going to be on the radio there. WTMJ 620 on the radio. Other than that, no Bally Sports for this one. Nothing new, right? Nothing new. Not able to watch the Brewers in spring here. But with that, I want to get to a couple of our sponsors here before we move on. First, your hometown team, Century 21 Gold Key Realty. Call Peggy, Sue, or Anna to find your dream home, or if you're looking to sell. Find them on Facebook at your hometown team, Century 21 Gold Key Realty, or stop in and see them at their location in Marshfield. Also, Sports Scene, sports cards, and memorabilia. Stop in there in the Marshfield Mall and see Al. He'll get you everything you need, from sports cards to memorabilia, model stock cars. He's got it all at Sports Scene in Marshfield, located in the Marshfield Mall. Also, Pittsville Farm and Home Center. We're getting closer to spring. They got their seeds out. They got everything you need for garden care at the store down there. So we don't know what the weather's going to do, but they're getting stocked and ready here for the spring season down at Pittsville Farm and Home in Pittsville, Wisconsin. With that, I want to look at women's basketball first, then I want to look at the men's. Just touch into the women's here, because we did get some news. The Badgers women's basketball team will be accepting the invite into the WNIT bracket there. They will be facing the likes of Southern Indiana or UIC coming up here. That will be, I believe, the second round is between March 23rd and 26th for that one. Got to see what happens in that first round there. The women's NIT does tip off March 20th through the 22nd. So good things there. Badger women do accept the WNIT bracket invite. That's a team, I just wish they could find something. You know, it's been a very long time since we have seen Wisconsin women's basketball play well. I mean, not in my lifetime. Not in my lifetime have we seen this women's team play, up to the par of even what we're seeing out of some of the other Big Ten teams right now. So getting in this WNIT tournament, hopefully that proves good things for this Wisconsin women's team moving forward. They can put the good things forward going into next year, get some good recruits in there. They got a couple in-state recruits coming in. A couple of them actually were in the state games this year for girls basketball. So fantastic stuff there. Hopefully the Badgers get some recruits in, get right, and this thing sails forward, because that's what Wisconsin's missing right now. I tell you, is a good women's basketball team. And well, we do have one. I'm not going to say we don't have a good women's basketball team, because we do have the Marquette women. And just pulling up the bracket here for the women's bracket to check it out. Marquette did get in there as a 10 seed. They will be facing Ole Miss. It's a tough side of the bracket. I mean, that this Marquette team got into. They got South Carolina in there. I believe, looking down the line here, They're going to have some Big Ten opponents in there. Michigan State's in that side, along with Indiana and Nebraska. They got Ole Miss first, so, I mean, that's your first take. But then you're going to face the likes of most likely Notre Dame in that 2:15 game. I believe Notre Dame will win that one. So if you beat Ole Miss, you got a date with Notre Dame. So that is definitely a tough side of the bracket to be a part of. Also, the Green Bay women's team did get into the tournament field. They got in. They're going to be the 11 seed. They will be facing Tennessee. That will be in, I believe, the Portland 4 region right there. Texas is the 1 seed in there. Stanford got in as the 2, NC State's in there as the 3, Iowa State, and Maryland, another Big Ten opponent in there in that 10 spot. Gonzaga's got the 4 in there. So that's also, I mean, a good regional. That is a very good region, and it's going to be tough sledding for Wisconsin teams to get very far in this women's bracket. Other notables, I mean, you look around the 1 seeds in there, you're going to have, like I mentioned, Texas and South Carolina, also Iowa, and USC will also be a 1 seed. Ohio State, Stanford, and Notre Dame, also UCLA, got the 2 seeds. 3 seeds, NC State, LSU, Oregon State, and I believe the last one was UConn. Yep, UConn got in there. So a lot of good action coming up in the women's bracket there. Can't wait for it to tip off here. That will be coming up. I believe the first game tips will be on the 22nd here. So that will tip about the same time as men's. That'll tip on Friday there. Will be the first game of the women's bracket for March Madness. So with that, before we get into the big one, right? The big talk, I want to get to a couple more of our sponsors here. First, Game Day Supply in Onalaska. Do you have a sports club or team? Are you looking for some sweet custom uniforms or apparel? Check out the awesome crew from Game Day Supply to help your team get the sweetest gear. Find them on Facebook at Game Day Supply or online at gamedaysupply.net. Also, Sport and Spine Clinic in Greenwood. If you've been injured lately and you need some physical therapy, whether at work, whether it was on the field, the court, wherever it was, stop in there in Greenwood. See Chad at Sport and Spine there. He'll get you right. He'll get you back to work, back on the court, back on the field, wherever it is. Sport and Spine Clinic in Greenwood. And also our newest sponsor, Marshfield Motor Speedways. Located just 3 miles outside of Marshfield. If you're heading out on County Road H and you're heading west there, you'll see the racetrack there. Great racing and family fun. Plan some fantastic summer days/nights at the track there. So Marshfield Motor Speedway in Marshfield, located just on County Road H, just outside of Marshfield there. Check them out on Facebook. If you need to find the schedule, they got the schedule there on Facebook. They got it on their website there. Check them out, Marshfield Motor Speedway. You get all your schedule planned for the year. You definitely got to get down there. A lot of great events coming to Marshfield Motor Speedway over the summer and fall here. So great things there. But we got to get It's March, baby, right? It's March. It's exciting. We're here. It is March Madness, and we got lots to talk about. I want to talk about this bracket here. I want to help you guys, give you guys some stats, what you need to know when you're picking your bracket. So first off, I want to get into a couple of the big trends. In 11 of the 12 tournaments, when the first 4 has existed, at least one of its participants is advanced to the second round. That's pretty good odds right there. 11 of the last 12 tournaments. First 4 games. So you look at the teams in the first 4 coming up here. Just to check it out, I was just had it up here, and now I lost it. The first 4 games, you're going to have Boise State, Colorado, Montana State, Grambling. Those are both 16 seeds. Virginia and Colorado State, and Howard and Wagner. I'll be honest with you. I'm going to give you a couple of teams right now. First off, it's going to be a team like Virginia. You're going to say this team can't score. They can't do that. I get that. They can't score. They're a terrible offensive team at times. But this team can defend. They'll control tempo. They'll control their end of the floor. And that's what you got when you get to March, is a team who can do that. Those little things. Control the tempo of the games and not let them get away. That's a big thing. So Virginia, definitely a team that can make it out of there. Also a team like Colorado State. I'll be honest with you, this Colorado State team, they can ball out. This team can flat out shoot the basketball, and they got a lot of scorers on this team right now. If you ask me, they didn't go as highly on Colorado State as I believe they could have. This team, they got 4 guys averaging in double figures right now. Very good minutes out of all of them. Good three-point shooting team all the way around there, 34%. Great at the free throw line. They're 48% from the field on the year combined. This is a good team. This is by far a great team there. Isaiah Stevens, a guard for him, leads them there, 16 points a game. This guy's all over the place. Averages about a steal a game there. He's very good shooting the basketball, too. About 46% from the field, and he's a 44% three-point shooter. So Isaiah Stevens is a guy to watch out for Colorado State there. This is a good team. This is a very good team, if you ask me. So those are a couple teams you got to watch out for there in that first round. But also looking at the first and second rounds here, not only has a number 15 seed won a first-round game in 3 consecutive years for the first time, but all 3 went on to reach the Sweet 16. So you look over the years here. Princeton happened in 2023. We had St. Peter's in 2022, and then Oral Roberts the year before that, 2021. St. Peter's went all the way to the Elite Eight, so that was impressive in its own right. But you got to look at that fact right there. Number 15 seeds have been pulling upsets over some of the number 2 seeds. So when you look at this bracket, you got to be like, hey, we got some 15 seeds pulling off some upsets here. Should we be worried right now? I look at some of the games. Iowa State, I'm not worried about Iowa State. I got to be honest with you. Arizona, Long Beach State, I think Arizona's length and physicality, they're all right. Athleticism will prevail in that one. Tennessee, St. Peter's. St. Peter's took her all the way to the Elite Eight last time, so watch out if you are a volunteer. You don't want to be messing around with a team like St. Peter's. And then Western Kentucky against Marquette. I like Marquette in that game. I don't think Western Kentucky will play well against Marquette. I think Marquette will control the tempo. They're going to turn you over, and Tyler Kolek is coming back for this Marquette team. So I think they will be all right going into that one. In the past 5 tournaments, 14 of the 20 matchups between number 4 and 13 seeds were decided by single digits. The most of any first-round seed pairings right there. That's impressive because you look at like 8-9 games, 7-10 games like that. This is the closest matchup right here is number 4 seeds versus number 13 seeds. So you look through the brackets. You got to be looking at all of them there. Morehead State. If there is a 3 seed that could potentially be in trouble, might be a team like Illinois against Morehead State. Also, I look at the Charleston-Alabama game. Charleston and Alabama. Here's the thing. Both teams like to play ridiculously fast. They want high scoring, high possession, everything in between. Both teams, Alabama and Charleston. So does Alabama knock down shots? Charleston, they're a good shooting team. This team can shoot the basketball. Charleston might be on the upset watch. It depends on which way you look at it there, but Charleston might be a team to watch going up against Alabama. I'm going to take Alabama to win that game, but Charleston could be an upset candidate right there. Also, looking down the line here, we got Vermont. Vermont, Duke. I'm going to tell you this right now. Vermont is not a bad team. They got a guy by the name of TJ Long averaging about 12 a game right now. Also, Shamir Bogues is averaging 11. This Vermont team, they don't have a lot of great wins this year. You look at a lot of their wins coming against, they did have one against Yale, who also made the tournament field. They have losses to Liberty, Bradley, and Colgate. Virginia Tech did beat them by 12, but it's March. It's March, so we don't care. Kansas against Samford is the other 13-4 matchup there. Samford going up against Kansas. Kansas has struggled. Hunter Dickinson has been out. McCullers has been out. This team is banged up. They don't play well on the road. That could spell trouble for the Jayhawks here. Going against the Samford team, they got some scoring on that team. They have a guy by Achor who's got 15 points a game right now, and Stanton McCray is averaging 11 for him at the moment. This is a team in Samford, took a big loss to Purdue, lost to VCU, but otherwise, they've played well on this season here. So Samford and Kansas, another 13-4 matchup. You got to watch out for. Number 13 seeds have won at least one in 27 of 38 tournaments. So there's an upset. There's something you got to be watching out for. Also, looking at another one, at least one top 4 seed has lost in the first round in 14 of the past 15 tournaments. Last year, there were 3 top 4 seeds outed in the first game. Number 1, Purdue. Number 2, Arizona. And number 4, Virginia. So watch out for some top 4 seeds to go down there in the first round. Definitely be looking at that end. Excuse me there. Moving on, though, at least one number 12 seed has defeated a number 5 seed in 32 of 38 tournaments. But this sure thing is trending downward. A lot of 5 seeds are picking up wins. They're taking care of business. So looking at the 5-12 matchups right now, Badger fans, you don't want to hear this one. San Diego State, UAB. I got to be honest with you, I picked UAB to beat San Diego State. I don't think the Aztecs are all chalked up to be what they are. I don't think the magical run's happening like it did last year. I got UAB in that 12-5 upset, going to be honest with you there. Also, another one I picked, Grand Canyon over St. Mary's. I believe Grand Canyon, great team shooting the basketball. They got a guy by the name of Grant Foster out there, averaging 19 a game. Ray Harrison's averaging 13.7. This team can ring it up from deep, and they have some good scorers on this team. They also, if you look at it, did beat San Diego State early on this year, 79-73. They took San Diego State, lost to South Carolina. That was a 7-point game in that one. This team's got some good games on the resume, gonna be honest with you, in Grand Canyon. So this is definitely a team you got to watch Grand Canyon-wise. The next one I don't want to talk about is James Madison and the Badgers. I previewed James Madison yesterday. If you haven't listened to it, yesterday I talked all about this team and James Madison, but they got good scores on this team. Edwards averaging about 17 a game and Bickerstaff averaging 13. This is a James Madison team who did beat Michigan State early on this year at the Breslin Center in East Lansing, 79-76. Outside of that, they've taken some losses. Appalachian State, they're 31-3 on the year. You play the schedule that's in front of you, right? But this team can score it, and they can score it at a high rate. They got wins of 113-108. They've put up a lot of 80-point games. This team can score it. So James Madison, definitely another 12 seed to watch out for there. Also another one, McNeese taking on Gonzaga. I'm going to be honest with you, this could be another 12-5 upset right here. McNeese playing great this season here, and this team can, like I've said before, can flat out score it. Wells averaging 17 a game, Shemate averaging 11. I believe Gonzaga will win this game. I projected them to win this game, but I'll be honest with you, Gonzaga isn't as great as they've been. They're still good. I don't think this Gonzaga team is bad, but they're definitely not what they've been, and I really do believe this will be a good game here between McNeese State and Gonzaga. So that's another 12-5 to watch out for there. Second round trends, number 3 seeds suddenly feasting on number 6 seeds. Since 2008, number 3 seeds are 22-5 against number 6 seeds. From 1985 to 2007, number 3s were 26-25 against number 6s. So over the years, number 6s have been struggling to take down number 3. So that's just different bracket factor for you. Sweet 16 is something you got to look at. Double-digit seeds have advanced to Sweet 16 in 15 straight tournaments and 36 of 38 overall. So you got to be looking at some of these double-digit seeds. Maybe it's a 12 seed, 11 seed, whatever it is. Last year, number 15, Princeton, was the only double-digit seed to reach the second weekend. 4 teams seeded in 10th or worse reached the Sweet 16 in both 2021 and 2022. So got to be predicting a big upset, a Cinderella team to make a run through this one. Number 11 seeds have played the Cinderella role well recently. Sweet 16 appearances by 10-plus seeds since 2011. Number 11 seeds, there's 14 appearances. Number 10s with 5, and then the list goes down from there. Number 16s and 14s actually have 0. It's surprising that number 14 seeds have 0, but number 15 seeds have 4 appearances in the Sweet 16 since 2011. That is really interesting right there. In the 68 team era since 2011, there have been just as many number 15 seeds to reach the Sweet 16 as number 12s. There have been 4 in total there. That's crazy. That's crazy if you ask me. All 4 number 2 seeds have reached the Sweet 16 just twice in the past 26 tournaments. So you got to be looking at that. Not every number 2 seed is going to make it through. There's going to be some 10 seed, some 7 seed, or even a 15 seed that's going to pull off an upset here against a number 2 team and bust some brackets. So you got to be watching out for that one. Elite 8 action, at least 2 teams seeded number 6 or worse have reached the Elite 8 in each of the past 3 tournaments and 6 of the past 7. Last year marked the first time an Elite 8 did not have at least one number 1 seed present. So I expect you will see a number 1 seed in this Elite 8. I really do. I think UConn's going to win it all, to be honest with you. But you will see a number 1 seed somewhere in that Elite 8. Final 4, there were 0 number 1 seeds in last year's Final 4, ending a streak of 10 straight tourneys with at least 1. Either 1 or 2 number 1 seeds have reached the Final 4 in 30 of 38 tournaments. That's about 79% of all tournaments there. Only once have all 4 number 1 seeds made the Final 4 in 2008. So don't expect all the number 1 seeds to make it through. If you're just doing the chalk bracket, don't expect to be a winner there because you won't get all the top seeds through. Also, you got to be looking at least 1 team seeded 7th or worse has reached the Final 4 in 9 of the past 10 tourneys. So you got to be looking at a 7 seed worse to make it in. Badger fans, I'm sorry, that doesn't help us. We should have sucked. We should have got in there as an 8 seed. We might have made a run. I don't know what it is, but I'm telling you, 7th or worse have reached the Final 4 in the 9 of the past 10 tourneys. So you're going to be looking at a 7 seed or worse. Looking at the line here, I mean, you got teams like Texas, possibly Virginia or Colorado State in there. And then you're looking at Florida, Boise State. You got your 7 seed in Dayton. You got your 7 seed in Washington State. There's a lot of viable candidates. I'll be honest with you. There's a lot of teams out there that can make some noise, but you got to be looking at some of the top teams to fall early on there. Also, it's been 32 years since the number 6 seed made the Final 4. By far the longest drought among seeds that have a Final 4 appearance. So, Badger fans, you can rejoice on that one. The Badgers are at number 5. We're okay on that end. We still got the chance, right? According to the analytics, we still got the chance. So we're good there. Bad news for Iowa State. Of the 36 teams that were seated in the top 2 and in the AP top 10, after entering the season unranked, none reached the Final 4. Iowa State received no votes in the postseason poll, but earned a number 2 seed and ranked 4th. So got to be looking at this team to possibly be an early exit in your bracket. Championship game, there has not been a repeat champion since Florida in 2007. Since then, no defending champ has advanced past the Sweet 16. UConn, they could have to face a team like, if they beat Stetson, you got FAU or Northwestern, and then you're going to face probably the likes of UAB, San Diego State, Auburn, or Yale in that next game there. Does one of them knock them out? I got Auburn getting into that game against UConn. It could go any which way. I got Auburn getting in there. Maybe the Brooms get broken out there by the Auburn Tigers and they take care of UConn. That would definitely be crazy to see there, but I got UConn winning all, so I can't say much there. No team has ever won a national championship after losing its first game in the conference tournament. Tennessee, Creighton, Kentucky, Duke, Kansas, and Alabama are the highest seed teams to lose their conference tourney opener this year. So if you're a Tennessee fan, Creighton, Kentucky, Duke, Kansas, or Alabama lover, this ain't for you. This tournament ain't for you. Since 2002, when Ken Pom began tracking it, 20 of the 21 national champions finished top 25 in adjusted offensive and defensive efficiencies. And I got the list right here, so I'm going to tell you who might have a shot there to get in according to Ken Pom, because Ken Pom knows what he's talking about. 9 teams actually only fit the criteria. Houston, Creighton, UConn, Marquette, Purdue, Tennessee, Auburn, UNC, and Arizona. So it takes that last factor out of it there a little bit because we did see Tennessee and Creighton on there. And then we also got the likes of, I believe, nope, just Tennessee and Creighton off that last list. So you play Tennessee and Creighton back in, you drop off Kentucky, Duke, Kansas, and Alabama. Those guys are out. We still got an option with the Volunteers and the Birds there in Creighton. I don't like Creighton, so I call them the Birds. But you got some options there. UConn, Purdue, all the way across the board. So some good tournament matchups there. Last one here. A number 2 seed has reached the championship game just once in the past 10 tournaments. Villanova won in 2016 as a 2 seed. The current 6 tournament drought without a title appearance is the longest ever, and there has never been a matchup of number 2 seeds in the national championship. I think that's crazy. I think that's a crazy stat right there because you would expect more number 2 matchups right there. So we're not going to get Arizona, Tennessee. We're not going to get any of that kind of crap in there. No number 2 seeds have reached the championship in the past 10 tournaments, and no one has faced them in the championship game there. So those are some facts you need to know while predicting your March Madness bracket there. Last thing I wanted to touch on before we got out of here for the day, I've seen a lot of people talking about it, and I just wanted to tap into it a little bit, weigh in as I could, and that is on the NIT tournament. The NIT tournament for college basketball, and we saw a lot of teams deny going to the NIT. Last year, Badger fans, we watched the Badgers go to the NIT. And I got to be honest with you, I wasn't saddened. I was excited to watch Badgers a little bit more. You know, you were able to go down to the Kohl Center, be able to watch the Badgers a little bit more that year. I didn't see a problem. I really did. Now, you know, you can look at it multiple ways with the NIT tournament. You can look at it, and this is the way a lot of people look at it, as a crappy bowl game, right? College football, crappy bowl games. Nobody watches them. Nobody cares, right? Unless you're a fan of the school, nobody cares. You can look at it as a growing thing. You want to grow your team. You want to get some extra basketball for these guys, the guys who might not play any more games. But right now, I think the way that I look at it is the way the transfer portal is set up. Right now, the transfer portal is open. It's open. Free agency has started in college basketball. And these coaches are like, I don't want to coach right now. Not if it's not for the potential to go to a national title game. The NIT championship, yeah, it's one thing. But it's not like it's not the granddaddy of them all, right? It's not it. So when it's a horse apiece for me when you have a program like, say, Wisconsin, right? A lot of people expected Connor Essegian's going to walk out the door. Connor says he's coming back. So we got that. I don't think AJ Storr's going to leave, but you never know. But it seems like most of this team, and what we've heard from Crowell and the likes of others, is that they're coming back for their last season. And in a year like that, I could see it being beneficial, as you could grow still. You can work on things. Last chance to play a little bit of competitive basketball before the year ends. But you watch the likes of St. John's and other teams say, Rick Pitino, we're not going. We're not going to play in a game like that. We have more other things we want to look at. And I get it. I do. I mean, it's tough nowadays because the transfer portal in college basketball and college sports needs to be fixed. It does. There needs to be periods. There needs to be, when the season ends, now the transfer portal opens. Now you have the ability to go after guys, just like professional sports. There has to be deadlines. There has to be opening and closings, but not seasons still going on. You got the NCAA tournament going on, and you got, like last year, FAU's players are being contacted by other universities while they're still in the tournament. You can't have that. You can't have that crap going on. And that is a can of worms that the NCAA opened up with this whole mess. And I'm not saying I don't like the transfer portal. I'm not saying I don't like players getting paid for name, image, and likeness. I'm not saying any of that. What I'm saying is that there has to be stipulations. There has to be rules put in. They just opened a floodgate. That's all they did. The water was pooling up, And they just said the only way we can fix this is just to open it up and flood the town. That's it. They didn't think of any other solutions. They didn't think of any way to prolong it. They didn't think of any other way to fix the situation or kind of ease into it. Maybe we just crack the door, right? Maybe we just crack the dam a little bit. We just let the water slowly start coming out, fill up the pond, fill up the river, let it flow down, and then it slowly empties out. No. What we did is we just blew that baby up. We let the water rush out, and now we're underwater. These coaches are underwater, and it's a mess. How does the NCAA fix it? I don't know if you can right now. It's not going to be tomorrow. It's not going to be in a week, but they have to find a way. You have to find a way to put in some kind of stipulations, rules, dates, deadlines, everything in between for this mess because it's free agency. That's what it is. At this point, there's money involved. There's assets involved. This is free agency. This is professional sport free agency, and we see deadlines in free agency for the NFL, for the MLB, for the NBA. There's got to be a deadline here. There has to be some kind of deadline for these teams so that way you don't get into messes like this. So that's where I'm at right now when I look at college basketball, the NIT tournament, and everything as a whole right now. It's not the same. It's not the same as it was. People don't watch the NIT. It doesn't really matter. Lots of things going on elsewhere, but teams are going to constantly go away from stuff like that because there's no point. You got so many other things you could be doing right then. Why would you waste your time playing more games when you could be out on the recruiting trail, or not the recruiting trail anymore, but the transfer portal trail, trying to find guys because recruits don't matter as much anymore. It's all about getting in transfer ads. So with that, that's all I got. We got a lot into college basketball today. I didn't even get to tell you guys my bracket, but we're going to get into that tomorrow here. I'll release my bracket. Let everybody know what I'm thinking there. I want to know what you guys are thinking. Shoot me a message on Facebook, wherever it's at. Find us. If you want to find us easily on Instagram. We're on there as Wisco Sports on the Go. Also on Twitter, X now, on WI Sports on the Go, and also on Facebook, Wisconsin Sports on the Go with Trage. We got a bracket challenge coming up. If you guys want to be involved in the bracket challenge, get on to Facebook. Find us on Facebook there. There's a link on Facebook directly to the page. Enter in the passcode. You can get on there. We're going to release prizes for that bracket challenge. All kinds of stuff going on here on the show. So it's fantastic. But hey, we're going to get out of here. This has been Wisconsin Sports on the Go with Trage. Thank you guys for listening. We'll catch you guys back here tomorrow. But until then, deuces.
Yeah, oh my Lord, watch me sway. Darkness falls and we all pray, hoping for the light of day down to the river.